We are live, which means I can hit this button. Go. Ba, 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 ba. Hello, everybody. Welcome along. Kind of. Getting ourselves nicely sorted out. And it looks like we may be short of a guest. What a shame. Because we were hoping that we were going to be joined by Christopher Butcher of the Toronto Comic Art Festival, but he appears not to have responded to any of our contacts. That's a shame. But there we go. Andrew English, are we back to 60-minute episodes, or will we try and beat Alyssa's record? No, we will not be trying to beat Alyssa's record. What the on earth was that all about? Good grief. But you know
my
what?
record for
I admire Alyssa for her tenacity and for her endurance.
when? What are you guys talking about? What have I walked into?
You've walked into a bit of people asking about whether we're doing 3-hour shows now.
Oh, yes, exactly. Sorry about that, guys. It was so long. There was so much to talk about yesterday, last show. What with the ticket sales and the hotel sales, and explaining what we were doing on the forum, and getting your report, Leonard, from the convention that you were at. Speaking of that, we're going to have a bunch of people next week at conventions. Wasn't that?
Aren't we just? Yes, we have got ourselves a fair old list. What else we got? We've got Aaron Neighbours who's joining us. You know, I want to get Aaron on the show at some point. Or Aaron. I always get told off by my wife because she said, no, it's Aaron. I've always said Aaron. So, very well. Anyway,
we did have him on the show for WonderCon.
Yes, we did. It was a lot of fun.
He was an extremely big help, and I really appreciated his help in doing the walkthrough on that. That was wonderful. Thank you, Aaron.
Yes. Super Cat Chick. Hello, everyone. Was at one of my favorite local cons last weekend, Planet Comic-Con. Hit an attendance around 70,000, and John Barrowman made news after the stage backdrop fell down around him. Go to an EnglishmanInSanDiego.com. I've got both video clips. I've got a full write-up. I showed that to a couple of friends. Good grief. I'm stunned that that story didn't turn out more dramatic, if you know what I mean. It could have easily gone so horribly wrong. But as it happens, nobody was massively hurt, and turned into quite the story. Quite the thing to see. I mean, we're talking a full ballroom backdrop, and the whole thing just collapsed. Good God. Mental. Absolutely mental. Michael P, good morning from Colorado Springs. Graham Small, afternoon all. Craig Linders, hello Andrew. Everyone's basically saying hello to each other, which is great. We have a little community and family of people watching on a Sunday. It's great. I love it. It's fantastic.
So with the Barrowman backdrop failure, did the truss fall too, or was it just the backdrop?
The scaffolding collapsed. The scaffolding collapsed. It was, I think, one of the basically the leg on one corner, which would be the right-hand side, collapsed, and gravity took hold and just took everything else with it. Good, absolutely incredible, insane. Park Connections. Where is Planet Comic-Con? It's Kansas City. Yes, Aaron, been gone for the last few hangouts. Good to be back. It's good to have you, sir. Cedric Carmichael, good morning from SoCal. Yes. Do spread the word, of course. Share the hangout. Let's get everybody involved and let everyone know that we are here on a Sunday. Your friendly weekly Comic-Con show. That wasn't a slight, by the way. Yes, I might as well advertise them myself, actually. If you do watch on a Wednesday, the unofficial blog have got their show back as well. So, yeah, you've got 2 shows a week talking about Comic-Con. How cool is that? Under English, just double checking I have my tickets. Oh, it's MCM, yes, that he's talking about. But there we go. Oh, right, and Graham's, I'll be there Friday and Saturday afternoon. Very cool. I have actually been trying to work out if I can even do MCM. I'd love to, because I can get press for it. It's just whether I can afford and whether I can make it down. It's just, yeah, things are starting to fill up now. I'm kind of working out how we can do this. We can get there. Let me just plug my headphones in so I'm a bit more clear. There we go. Right. Microphone handling noise there. I do apologize. Hello there. How the devil are you? Welcome along to Talkin Comic-Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. My name is Leonard Sultana, and we are 10 weeks and 3 days away from San Diego Comic-Con. It's proving to be a lot of news coming out of various quarters as we get closer and closer. We covered a lot of it last week as we really kind of ramped up, especially when it came to Hotel Apocalypse. We're going to kind of talk a little bit more about that in a second. We also were going to be having a special guest on. I am keeping a close eye on my emails and on my sort of private messages, because we were hopefully going to be joined by Christopher Butcher, who is the head honcho of the Toronto Comic Art Festival. I wanted to talk to him about what it's like to put on such a prestigious event like TCAF, about the stresses and strains and highs and lows of putting on such an event. It takes place next weekend, and it was going to be a nice little warm-up for that particular event. However, he's kind of gone radio silent. He reshared and he kind of let everyone know that we were going to be having a chat with him today, but yeah, you never know. He may just jump in at any point. So prepare yourself. It could be one of those kind of shows today. Joined by my usual and partner in crime, we have Alyssa Franks from the Friends of Comic-Con Forum. How are you, Alyssa?
Oh, this has been a crazy, absolutely crazy week. Just read it, doing just Hotel Apocalypse, trying to manage the exchange. Speaking of that, I just want to give everybody a heads up that the exchange is open for new forum members until later on tonight. So if you've registered this week, you can still register and be available for the exchange next week. That happens tomorrow. Excellent. Oh joy, it doesn't end.
It doesn't, does it? No. Yes, of course, round 2 of the emails go out tomorrow. So fingers crossed for everybody. Best of luck. I mean, well, let's just dive straight into it then. Hotel Apocalypse round 1. The emails, I mean, we talked about it last week to some degree, but obviously we weren't able to cover it too much until we actually started having emails going out, so we could actually talk about the response. Now, obviously, we can't go into too much detail because at the end of the day, the numbers that we can talk about are objective. It's all down to just the people who talk about the Hotel Apocalypse on the forum. But what was the reaction on certainly Monday, Tuesday when emails started coming in?
I have to say that there was a lot of disappointment that the people who didn't get emails were feeling, and I completely understand that. It seemed as though that only the earlier people got notified. The people who got their submission in within a minute to a minute and a half, 2 minutes, which means that there's a huge amount of people and responses, emails yet to go out tomorrow. I think the San Diego unofficial blog had it at 25% went out last week. So I'm kind of getting everybody ready for 75% more emails, the remaining 75% to happen on Monday. So I think,
I mean, from what I can gather from the various examinations that I've been doing, it's looking like it's the confirmation emails that will go out tomorrow, and then over the course of the following week, people who have been denied rooms will start to hear, because we will be hearing whether you've got a room or not. So it's not a case of you've heard positive news and total silence. You will actually hear if you didn't get a room this time round. As it happens, though, it's more a case of not getting a room that you wanted. There are, or will be, plenty of rooms still available. Mission Valley, Coronado Island, that kind of thing.
My remembrance, they said last year that they would notify everybody, and I never got a notification.
Really?
So, and yes, I did check my spam filters. Yeah, I'm good about that. So I take that with a grain of salt, but I will say that On Peak seems to have been better about their customer service. They seem to be giving more consistent answers. Chime in if you did not experience that, but that's been my feeling about how things have been going forward.
Well, yeah, absolutely. The Q&A is open on the YouTube channel now, so please do jump in with any of your comments and questions. If you did get an email, how did you do? Was it the hotel that you requested? What was your timestamp? Do let us know if you did, or if indeed you're still waiting. Indeed, we've got Craig Linders, did not get an email. Tomorrow is the day. Wife says this is killing her budget planning. I totally understand and appreciate that. So yeah, please do jump in with the Q&A and let us know how you have done with last week's first round of email. Andre White, I logged in at 9:06, so I'm doomed. For a downtown, possibly, but who knows? At this point, it really is. I mean, I think it's a little bit more up in the air. I think the process was smoother, but it's now a case of just how they organize it. We still don't have too much in terms of background. Yes, Alyssa.
One thing that I did hear on the forum was that somebody spoke with On Peak, and they said it was arbitrary with regards to whether or not you got notified last Monday or are getting notified tomorrow. But there seemed to be a clear delineation with regards to downtown, that 1.5-minute timestamp that I was talking about earlier. So you may indeed get a downtown hotel. They may have held some hotels out. For example, we haven't heard anything about the Pendry.
No, you know what? I still think that's either a staff or a guest one.
Yeah,
I genuinely believe, because it's close enough for people to get to. It's nicely swanky enough for guests. It's out of the way, because I think while artists in the past have been traditionally being put in the Manchester Grand Hyatt, I think it's still too far of a walk for artists to. It is quite a distance from that, sort of like first thing on the morning to come from that hotel. I think the Pendry, it's straight down the road. It's I think it's a little bit more easier of access. I personally think it is more of a special guest thing, but.
No, that makes sense, and it very well could be. But the point being is that we haven't heard from. I think there's one other hotel. I don't remember specifically what, but also all of those people who had 2 roommates, and the second, both of them applied, and they took one of those. They both got a downtown hotel. They took one of those reservations. That reservation is now available for the people on the 8th. So it may end up being that people from 1:30 on to 2 or 3 minutes are able to get a downtown hotels, because there's so many being thrown back into the pot. So
sure. Well, I mean, this is what this 2-week period is all about. It's about shuffling everybody about and getting everybody the rooms that they would like, and if not, the rooms that are available. So no, it makes sense. Also, that business of 25% makes a little bit more sense as well.
It scares
me. Like I said,
I'm absolutely scared about what's going to happen tomorrow. I hope I'm scared needlessly.
Yeah. Well, we'll soon find out. Like I say, the swap is up and running on Friends of Comic-Con forum, which I might as well just very quickly show you, because it was announced over the course of the weekend that the Friends of Comic-Con forum site has had a bit of a revamp, as you can see here. So we've got all sorts of bits and pieces. The front of the site is now being revamped. I'm thinking I'm recognizing the theme, by the way, but
you may or may not be the first person to have said this to me. I did not recognize that other people had been using this theme. However, it is the easiest theme to just walk into.
I paid for mine.
Well, this one
there we
was,
go.
Yeah, was not a paid theme.
So yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay. So there's all sorts of bits and pieces on there, of course, which you can check, and of course head to the forum to find out what's going on there. In terms of what else were we going to talk about? Well, we can talk very quickly about a couple of things that did get announced this week. Certainly on Monday, there was the announcement about the Eisners, which I do have a post up on an Englishman in San Diego. Certainly because of the focus of my site, I did concentrate on the Brits. We have a fair number that is up for Eisners this time around. Sean Phillips, Dave McKean. Dave McKean, if he doesn't win the Eisner this time around, I'll be stunned, because he's been nominated for Black Dog, The Dreams of Paul Nash, which I saw the live performance of at Lakes last year. Good God, it's a emotional sledgehammer. It's an incredible piece of work, and if he doesn't win for it, I'll be stunned. Tom Gold has been nominated for Best Graphic Album for Mooncop. He's also been nominated for Best Writer, Artist, and Best Lettering, so I'm expecting him to walk away with at least one of those. And also Zainab Akhtar from Leeds has been nominated for Critical Chips, which is a comics-related periodical and journalism. I'm hoping that she wins that. I think that'd be rather cool. As it happens, also first-time nominator John Davis Hunt, who's also the guy behind, as you can see on screen there, the logo for the UK attendees this year. He's been nominated for Best New Series is the artist for Clean Room. Fingers crossed for him. But there's, I mean, this has been one of those years looking through the nominations where I'm absolutely stuffed. For some of them, I have no idea where on earth they could go. Best Continuing Series, Astro City, Kurt Busiek, Mighty Thor, Jason Aaron, and Russell Dalterman, Paper Girls, Saga by Brian K. Vaughan. I can expect Brian BK to be up on stage because either of those two could win. Best New Series, Black Hammer, Clean Room, Faith, Mockingbird, just incredible stuff. Yeah, just there's some which I just cannot pick at all. If we go down to like the ones, I mean, the one that I'm desperately hoping doesn't win is Max Landis, but that's more of a personal thing against Max Landis from Best Writer. But you've got Ed Brubaker in there, you've got Jeff Lemire, you've got Brian K. Vaughan, Chelsea Kane for Mockingbird. I could suspect that Mockingbird could tip that more as a protest vote, maybe, who knows, because she did she has been on the receiving end of that. There's some categories here I just can't pick at all.
Does the Eisners usually happen on the Friday night? Is that why?
Friday night, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes place Friday night in the Indigo Ballroom. It's something that we constantly push here as an offsite because it is free of charge. Basically, the great and the good of the comics world, not just the current talent, but from all of comics legacy, is in one room. Admittedly, they're behind a bit of a gated section and they're eating slightly better than you, but you can sit at the back, and it is the Oscars of the comics industry. It's free of charge to enter, and I really always recommend it.
And I remember why I had promised myself that last year I would attend, and Funko Fun Days is on Friday night. And that one,
yes, you're not the only person to say it. Corgi Commander, I need to finally attend that award show.
Corgi, you and I, we're going to do it this year because I'm not going to Fun Days. I won't do it. So you and I will go to the Eisners, and Leonard, you'll join us, right?
Of course.
Okay.
I usually get somebody to hold my Hall H seat, and then again, I might not be doing Hall H this year. I might not have my Saturday badge, so who knows? Who knows? So no, it's a hell of a setup. Do head to anenglishmaninsandiego.com. It's one of our featured posts on the Eisners this year. It is very much a recommended event to go to, even if it's a case of just taking the load off on a Friday, and just seeing this incredible amount of talent being recognized up on stage. And it's always...
It's what started Comic-Cons, comic book writers.
Pretty much.
When
yet to hear about what the Eisner, the Spirit of Industry Award nominations are this year. So we've yet to find out which comic book stores have been nominated. We are going to talk about comic book stores in a bit as we talk Free Comic Book Day. We'll get around to that in a minute.
And we have not heard about press. There's a lot of people who are still waiting on press notifications.
From what I can gather, when you apply for press, it does say on there there's 8 weeks of assessment. There's an 8-week turnaround until you get your badge. People are getting very strict turnarounds on that. It's bang on the 8 weeks. So if you didn't submit, if you submitted a little bit later, perhaps you're gonna have to wait. It's as simple as that. They are being very specific, and they are working through as the submission date went. So bear with it. It's not happening all in one go. But no, people are starting to receive their press badges. I know the unofficial blog received theirs. I think they got theirs in relatively quickly. I think the forum didn't. Haven't you received a couple?
I've received my confirmation. The rest of my team has not. Yeah.
Yeah, but they smell. So you know, what can you do? You're the boss. You're the boss. The minions can wait.
Yeah. No. I'm not quite sure what happened with that. I'm sure that we are being processed in order. We did not get our application in for at least a week after it opened. So I'm sure that there are plenty of people ahead of my team for the press thing.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's see what else we've got here. Other things. Yeah. Well, let's talk about other news that did come out this week as well. In terms of offsites, we've got some bits and pieces that have come in. We've got ourselves news from Adult Swim about the Rickmobile, which is going to be coming to San Diego Comic-Con as part of the Rick and Morty. It's a mobile store for Rick and Morty fans, and it's doing a national tour. It's in Atlanta next weekend at Little 5 Points, but it will be making its way round to San Diego for the convention for San Diego Comic-Con. There you go. If I can, if I just click on this, what happens if I actually? Will I get the picture up on screen? I'm hoping it will. There you go. It's a store that's mobile and is Rick shaped. It's the Rickmobile. You know what? I'm not even following them. That gets sorted. So there you go. Why am I not following them on Instagram? So there you go. That is if you are a Rick and Morty fan, that's going to be doing the rounds. Don't even trip, road trip. So there we go. Another thing that's been announced, but this is D23, but people have been saying that perhaps it could be showing up for San Diego Comic-Con, which is taking a dive into Scrooge McDuck's money bin. This is off the back of the reboot of DuckTales on Disney XD. They've recreated a life-size version of Scrooge's legendary money bin, which is old coins which you can dive into, which it's fun. I mean, admittedly, the people I've shown that to, they've just gone, yeah, I'm down with that. So you may be seeing that in the car park at around the back of Petco. Who knows? But that would be an ideal place to have that. Throw the kids for half an hour.
We've heard a fair amount about the Game of Thrones musical at San Diego. Have you heard anything about that, Leonard?
Was that a sly segue? Is that what it is?
No.
Oh, fair enough.
No sly
right.
Just talking.
No sly segue.
Just talking
okay.
off sites.
Enough. Okay. Yes. I was going to do this at the end actually, but I'll do it now. The Game of Thrones is taking place on Thursday through Sunday. They're doing 8 shows. They're currently touring at the moment. and they're going to be bringing the performance to As It Happens. Oh, I've got a bit of a freeze now. Everything's kind of frozen. Your end, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, the Game of Thrones musical sounds to be quite interesting. I was actually thinking about getting tickets for it, just because I like kind of wacky stuff like that.
Yeah, As It Happens, holding a competition on an Englishman in San Diego, which is open right now until midnight on Saturday, where somebody can win 2 tickets to any one of the performances of San Diego Comic-Con, which basically means, say for example, you've got your Funko Fridays, so that's all sorted out. You've got a meetup on the Thursday, that's all sorted. But you find yourself at a loose end on the Sunday. Well, you can allocate the tickets for that. So yes, we are giving away a pair of tickets. If you head to anenglishmaninsandiego.com, I think it's one of our featured posts, or certainly I think it's on in the competitions tab. You can win a tickets to this thing. The trailer looks particularly fun because there's a trailer on the post for the San Diego shows. It looks like a giggle, and I'm really excited about this. There's the possibility that I'm going to try and get to one of the shows as well. So yeah, I'm up for that. But yeah, that's Thrones the musical.
Yeah, if you do get tickets, let me know, because I'd be interested in doing it too. Also, there seem to have been some questions about the Conan, whether or not Conan was going to be there Wednesday. From
what I can gather, and this is off the unofficial blog, did a bit of inquiry, or certainly Got Girl SDC, who writes for the unofficial blog. She contacted them. She was actually the first person to spot that outside the Spreckles Theatre, there was a banner stating that Conan will be coming to San Diego again. What they've done, or what they've found out, is what they're going to be doing is filming the shows the day before. So it's Wednesday through Saturday. There isn't a show on air, I believe, on the Friday. So I believe it goes Thursday, Friday. Let me get this right.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Saturday, Sunday, whichever. But yeah, yeah, it's back, and it's going to be 4 days worth. So yeah.
There seemed to be some questions about whether or not it was going to be happening on the Wednesday. They were going to be filming on Wednesday, which is preview night. The reason why I paid attention to it is because it happens. People have to line up at the same time when they're traditionally at the forum meetup breakfast.
Well, so that's the thing. That's the thing. If you get yourself your tickets through IOTA, that lining up nonsense, you can even show up an hour and a half. Admittedly, if you're wanting really good seats, then obviously you do a little bit of time invested in queuing up a little bit early. But the lines that were made up last year for Conan were for the standby seats. The ones that have been cancelled, the ones that have been returned. And yes, those lines were particularly mental. They were starting 24 hours the day before. Yeah, I mean, admittedly, maybe it's because we don't get Conan here in the UK. I don't see the massive appeal of queuing up for Conan tickets to that extent. But who knows? Who knows? People who have gone have told that it was just so much fun. Andre White, I got into Conan last year for one show. Corgi Commander is saying it's for the Conan Pop. It's all about priorities, dude. So yeah.
Funko Fun Days for me. I'm done. I'm done with that.
Scott Clulu did Conan last year too, and it's fun. Excellent stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you did go, by all means, a pocket review on the YouTube.
I did go one day last year, thanks to one of the forum members, and it is fun being in the audience and seeing the show. You see the whole hype and lead up to it, and what people do during commercial breaks, and and all of that. So that's interesting, and it is.
I mean, I'm saying all of this. I've never done the other offsite, the other big offsite.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The Woodstock.
No, not that one. At the Children's Theatre, which, by the way, is back this year.
Oh.
Zachary Levi's thing.
Nerd HQ.
Why can't I remember? Nerd HQ, of course. I hadn't done Nerd HQ before last year. It was the first time I'd done it, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, you know, I can't say anything until I've actually done it. So people are turning around and just typing Nerd HQ at me now.
Good for them. Good for them.
Shame, absolute shame. You're damn right. It's been a long week.
Is anybody going to HopCon on preview night, Wednesday night? Anybody else?
I'd like to know if people are for this, because this sounds interesting. Admittedly, you're only going to be getting a number of the celebs involved when it comes to the Wootstock, which also is up for grabs at the moment. The tickets are open for Wootstock at the moment. Yeah, it's
HopCon.
I'd be curious to see if anyone's actually got badges for that. But yeah, that looks like a lot of fun as well.
I do. It was the free food that got me. That was, you know, the different beers was good too. You know, obviously, you know, bar, but food was and fun. So
yeah. So there we go. Andre White's HopCon, never heard of it. It is actually on our off-site calendar on an Englishman in San Diego. But yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. Tell you what, I might even just pull that up now and at least
Park Connection. While you do that, Park Connection says I'll be in line camping out for Hasbro. Oh, preview night, camping out for the next day. I was going to say, because a lot of people go to preview night and then go over to HopCon for after, because I think it doesn't start till later. So, and it is a bar, so it's open past 9.
Yeah. Well, let me just bring this up so people can see. That one. Right. So this is our off-site calendar, and if I bring up HopCon, which is on the first day. Come on, you. There we go. So it is a celebration of the Drew Curtis, Will Wheaton, Greg Koch, Stone Farkin Wheaton Quinennial, which is all 5 versions on tap of the Woot Stout, which they brew. To sample a full vertical, we are taking over the entire Stone Brewing World Bistro and Gardens, which, by the way, even if this wasn't going on, I would recommend you going, because that's a hell of a place. It's a brilliant location. Liberty Station for the celebration will be hosting a blast from the past from the best drafts, collaborations, and creations from yesteryear. Not to mention 3 custom casts of this year's Woot Stout that's available. Your $75 ticket includes 15 3-ounce beer samples, 5 of which are Woot Stout, the opportunity to sample the full 5-year vertical, a commemorative HopCon glass, gourmet food stations with unlimited tastings. There you go. That's what Alyssa was on about. Unlimited plays at Mike's Hopcade, photo booth, Cheerios for dessert, and lots of geeky good times. No special guests have been announced as yet, but there is also the Mike's Hopcade as well. So there's all sorts of bits and pieces taking place with that. It is going to be at the Stone Brewing World Bistro and Gardens Limited Station, which isn't actually that difficult to get to, and I really would recommend it. It's $75 at the moment, and tickets are available on brown papers as we speak. Andre White, man, HopCon conflicts with the unofficial blog gathering. Indeed. No, we can talk about that. They have announced that they are going to be doing not so much an enchantment under the STCC this year. It's just more of an unofficial gathering, which to me sounds great, but it also just seems that if you are a fan of the unofficial blog, this is a great way to buy them a drink, which means we could actually send several members of the unofficial blog to hospital to have their stomach pumped if we really try really hard, if we show that our appreciation. But no, it's I'm gonna have to check. It's yes, two blog two furious is the name for it, and I'm gonna have to dig out where they're actually hosting this year. I think I've actually put it onto the. I think I've put it into our. Yeah, the unofficial blog meetup. There you go. It's in the off-site calendar. It's happening at the McFadden's Restaurant and Saloon on 7/31 5th. It's going to be taking place between 7 and 11. It is a unofficial gathering for friends of the unofficial blog and readers. So if you fancy it, go for it. Check that out. We have yet also to find out about Tony Kim's Game of Bloggers event that takes place on the preview night. There's also the UK attendees group meetup, which is what I usually end up going to and having a lot of fun there. Lots of things happening on preview night, of course. So there we go. Right, anything else that we want to talk about when it comes to that?
We do have a couple of forum meetups, but they're pretty much booked at this point. There is a wait list going on. Usually we have room for the Sunday night meetup, which is at a restaurant close by the convention center. It's kind of a pricey place, but it's really nice to have a good meal after a long day of cons, a long weekend of cons. So
indeed. The other thing that I wanted to bring up as well, I mean, there's a couple of offsites that have kind of been announced over this week. I think this was actually announced last weekend, which was the Steam Powered Giraffe, San Diego's own automaton-based music ensemble, are going to be doing a show on the Thursday between 6 and 8 at Centre Theatre on 121 Broadway. Sorry. Now, if you are a fan of the Steam Powered Giraffe, this will be a lot of fun. You're looking at $80 for the VIP tickets, but you get to watch the sound check, get a goodie bag, and all that palaver. What I will actually say, it's actually quite a distance away. It's not close at all. It's quite a trek. You're going to have to be pretty dedicated, I would say, if you are a Steam Powered Giraffe fan. But if you are, there you go. That's another item on the list that you can go and check out. So there we go.
I may go to the unofficial blogs party and then HopCon.
Well, I will be doing the UK attendees thing because, well, you know, it's my group, baby. I've got to.
Night meetup too? I didn't realize that. I thought it was just a Sunday night.
Well, there's a Sunday as well, but
there you
whatever.
go. Okay.
Yeah. Let's have a look at this. Game of Bloggers is actually looking for a venue at the moment. Andre White, I have to go to Game of Bloggers since I blog for that site now. Yes, you're kind of entitled on that one. Andrew Dickinson quite correctly says as well, there is also a concert taking place throughout San Diego. Tears for Fears are playing.
Wow.
Yes, tell me about it. Indeed. Corgi Commander, you can see the UK people 359 days out of the year.
Nice one,
Stop trying to talk me out of it, man. No, Tears for Fears are playing. As far as I'm aware, there's someone else supporting that concert as well, which looks like a lot of fun. Hall and Oates. Sorry, I'm more for Tears for Fears. Come on.
What is this? A blast from the 80s? Or did I get my generations wrong? Is it the 90s?
More 80s.
Okay,
more
sorry.
80s. It's more 80s. But there we go. Okay. Other events that have been announced as well. Doug Loves Movies on the Thursday, which is going to be happening up at the American Comedy Co. Venue. Jay and Silent Bob Get Old in San Diego. That's also taking place at American Comedy Co. The Legend of Zelda, which, watch this space, we may be doing another competition with those guys. So some tickets may be up for grabs for that as well. Tickets are currently on sale as well for Heroes Brewfest, although the 50 ticket limit has gone now for the VIP upgrade. So it is just Standard tickets available for that. Oh, Tears for Fears are the support. What? Tears for Fears are much better than Hall & Oates. Come on. What?
You're dating yourself. Be careful.
I don't care. I don't care. Change. Great. Oh, I was playing some Tears for Fears last night. Love it. But anyway, there we go. Okay. Plenty of things being announced. Do check out the off-site calendar on the website, and also on the forum as well, because they are starting to put stuff together for the off-site stuff there as well. So there we go. Any updates on the Nerdist podcast, Baker Street Babes, and Doctor Who meetups? I've yet to hear back from the Baker Street Babes. I have tried reaching out to them. The Doctor Who meetups, I'm not too sure is actually going to be happening this year, purely because they did get completely mowed out last time. Last year the venue did get incredibly rammed, and I think they did get a bit of a rap on the knuckles. But I do know they're wanting to organize it. They just need to organize it for a bigger venue. The Nerdist podcast, nothing yet, and I don't think we'll hear about that until middle of June, because we'll be looking at the guests that they announce. It's all down to talent that's going to be showing up in town as well, of course. So events like that, and it's like Nerd HQ. It's very difficult to tell you who's going to be appearing at Nerd HQ, because it's all down to who's invited to San Diego Comic-Con to take part in panels. So do watch that space. Nerdist haven't booked the Balboa. I'm thinking that perhaps Chris may be wanting to spend a little bit more time with his missus now. Who knows? He may not want to be doing the running around like he did last year. The avalanche of exclusives should be starting any minute now, as indeed. Yeah. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to happen, and it's going to happen hard, and it's going to happen fast. So there we go. Right. I think we'll move on, unless there's anything else anyone wants to talk about.
Sounds good to me.
No? Okay. Let's talk about yesterday. Hopefully you did take part in Free Comic Book Day, because quite frankly, if you are a comic book fan and you didn't take part, you're a bad comic book fan. Isn't that right, Alyssa?
I'm a bad comic book fan. I will fully admit it. I stayed home and reworked my website, but I have an hour and a half drive to go to my local comic book store. So I stand a little bit, I have a little bit of please.
Fair enough. I did take part in Free Comic Book Day. I got into Leeds around 7:30 in the morning. Had something to eat at some fast food hostelry, who shall remain nameless. And yeah, we hit the stores hard. We went to first Traveling Man at the bottom end of town, then up to OK Comics, which is my personal preference of choice when it comes to my comic book store. And yeah, and then we went to Forbidden Planet, where we just looked at Pop Funkos and a very badly organized Free Comic Book Day. So there you go, lots of fun. Admittedly, we do things slightly different here in the UK when it comes to Free Comic Book Day, as far as I'm aware, when it comes to the US and the way you do it, because I understand there's limits to how many books you can get, which is why people do end up doing tours around stores just to kind of get as many as they possibly can, or there's ticketing or whatever. In the UK, or certainly for the stores in Leeds, it's grab what you can. It's just grab what you like, and lots of it. So I basically did indulge, and I got my fair share of comics. I do want to count down my top 5 of the ones that did come out, but I do want to just make a couple of honorary mentions. Number 1, Wonder Woman kicks ass. Check it out. Number 2, Valerian. If anything, because of the film that's coming out, because the Free Comic Book Day was actually it's actually a reprint of the original Mobius comic. So that is, if you've not checked out the original Valerian, it's the main reason why I'm interested in the film, because the original book kicks ass. So there we go. Those are my 5 there, so I'll come back to that. But the other one that I wanted to do as my honorary mention, SpongeBob SquarePants. If anything, for this panel right here, let me just hold this up. This is, where is everybody? They're at No Charge Funny Book Day. Okay, what is No Charge Funny Book Day? Why? It's the day that all the graphic... Oh, wait, I'm going to have to read this out. The graphic literature shops provide gratis samples of their wares in a pathetic effort to bolster an industry which has spent the last 2 decades in a death spiral, brought on by a lethal interaction between the lack of variety and a monopolistic distribution system. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what you call shade.
Definitely commentary on the industry. Nice. Very good.
Love it. Okay, really quickly then. So let's do my top 5. In no preferential order. Okay, I'll start with the Incal, which is John Borowski's and Mobius book, another Mobius showing when it comes to Free Comic Book Day. If anything, because it's Mobius. The man is just stunning. Even if you're just kind of been raised on a diet of DC, Marvel, if you want to go a little bit more European, if you want to try a different flavor of comics, anything by Mobius is amazing, but the Incal is incredible, cracking book, which I would heartily recommend. Star Trek, The Next Generation.
Nice.
Which is a Mirror Broken story, which is based around the character of Barclay, and it is basically the mirror universe to the Star Trek Generation universe. I will say the artwork, which is all painted, is just absolutely glorious. I'm just checking out because it's. I mean, the artwork's been done by J.K. Woodward. And it's just absolutely beautiful.
He's actually from my hometown here in New Hampshire, and he did a number of signings in the area in support of some women's centers, and nobody knows they don't know what to make of him, because he comes in, when he was doing this, he came in with a mohawk. And in my small town, people are kind of going, what? So it was real fun. I've got a number of his earlier prints.
Just absolutely incredible. If I can just, I mean, what I actually say is it reminds me of Alex Ross. You know, that kind of like really fine art painting style. Gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Doctor Who. I didn't get there was another cover for the Doctor Who issue, but great artwork again, featuring Doctor Who in the bill. Yeah, just brilliant artwork, great story. I actually know the guy that wrote this as well, which was Alex Packendale. Great stuff. And you've got a whole range of different art styles as well throughout the entire book. Everything from really out and out children's or young all ages comic to full paint rendering, and it's just a great book. Fantastic freebie. Another Brit publication, I do apologize, but 2000 AD. If anything, because my god, they've really gone all out on this issue. Same drill, it's an anthology just like 2000 AD, so lots of little future shock stories. There's a Slain story in there. You've got your full Judge Dredd in there as well, but it's a really mighty book for a free publication. It's insane just how good quality it is. I mean, you've got people like Pat Mills from 2000 AD, well, all of them, which are the 2000 AD mainstays in there. Dan Abnett, Phil Winslade in there. Excellent stuff. I really would recommend that. Now, I did say that these were not in any kind of order. There is a front and center winner, however, which is this bad boy.
Oh, nice.
Which is Mr. Scotty Young, of course, doing I Hate Image. It's basically it's a out of canon story for I Hate Fairyland. But what he's done is he's saying that Gert, if you don't know what I Hate Fairyland is, basically Gert is a 8-year-old girl who wished that she could go to Fairyland and did. and stayed there for 20 years, going slightly insane and psychopathic. She's a nasty piece of work, and it's fun to watch her rampage through this fluffy bunny land. She has been informed that there is a group of people called the directors that can help her in her efforts to escape from Fairyland. And in doing so, she then goes through a bunch of variations of Image Comics characters and worlds. So, for example, you do have a whole bunch of Image Comics characters which she meets and encounters. I mean, I think my personal favorite, let's see, she happens to go to a nightclub called Club Wickdiv. So you've got Wick and Divine represented, and it's incredibly sharp. I can imagine there had to be a couple of emails and conversations with creators on the Image roster before he did this, because otherwise he really gives them the boot, which is just hilarious. There is a it all goes black and white as they go through Walking Dead land. It's just so much fun. This is the funnest one out of the bunch. It is just a lot of a big giggle. Like Deadpool kills Marvel Universe. Yeah, I'd go along with that. But it's a little bit more inside baseball than that. It really, I mean, for example, Jamie McKelvey and Kieran Gillen show up in this. Very, very weird. Very good book. I really recommend that. So there you go. Those are my top 5 out of the ones.
Speaking of comics, if people didn't get a chance to watch the documentary on the History Channel, Superheroes Decoded, I think it was on the History Channel. Yes. I do recommend seeing that. It is not like other documentaries, and it really what it does, and like what you were talking about, Leonard, is it really puts the comics in context of what was happening around them.
I really want to see this thing. I really want to see this thing.
But one of the things it doesn't go on about is the comics code being revoked with the Spider-Man and the Green Lantern series in the 60s, which I thought was a bad thing. They didn't talk about that, but the comics, and I think that the point that you're making with the comics that you illustrated and pointed out to us are the ones that talk about what's happening in real life. Yeah. And that's what this documentary does too, and that's what that I Hate Image book does.
Yeah.
And
well, speaking of reflecting on real life or controversies and stuff, is I think I will touch very quickly on this thing that made it a part of the free comic book day. I also did, while I was at my comic book shop, I did also buy my books for the last 3 weeks, including Secret Empire issue 1, which people have had numerous of thoughts on. But this particular issue, the free comic book day issue, basically covers the section which isn't covered in the Secret Empire section, which is the first onslaught. The actual book, Secret Empire, starts kind of like in the aftermath of the storyline. This pretty much covers the battle, as it were. Yes, there are some things in here which, if you are still quite sensitive about the whole business of Captain America turning to the dark side, this would not help. I saw a tweet earlier on this morning, GMT, so afternoon North American time, where basically several people were grabbing copies of this with the express intention of burning them. Here's my comment on that. If you burn a comic book because of what's written inside of it, you're an idiot. It's as simple.
Was it commenting on, since I haven't read it, nor have I been really involved with Free Comic Book Day, what is it talking about that upsets people? Is it just the Captain America story, or
pretty much? Pretty much. Because the way that they're retconning this, it really is a case of Hydra isn't bad anymore. It just needed to be marketed better. And when you've got a character that was created by two Jewish comic creators with the intention of punching Nazis in the face, to have him embrace the doctrine of Hydra and do it in a manner. And no, I wasn't actually going. I was going to show the final panel, which kind of really does.
No spoilers.
Yeah, it's powerful stuff. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I mean, I think the other thing that people really did get wound up about with it as well is the business of the, because like I say, the first issue of Secret Empire is with Hydra in place. Captain America is, and it is America is now under a Hydra controlled government. And it's doing a really good job of stuff. It's doing it under the yoke of control and the relaxing of freedoms. Doesn't this sound awfully familiar? It's definitely a political statement, and that's why I'm sticking with the story. I'm sticking with Nick Spencer. I've got his back because I think there's stuff to say here. But people buying or people grabbing copies of the free comic book day comic just to burn it is mindless to me. Absolutely ridiculous. Also, especially when you've also got a really good Chip Zdarsky Spider-Man story in the back. I don't get it. But there we go. That was my take on it. All I would say, if you did do free comic book day yesterday, I hope you got all the books that you were after. I think I was only shy of a couple. I didn't get the tick. Curses. There are a couple I missed out on, but I got the ones that I wanted. No, I will say this year, the quality of the books have been stunning. They've really thrown A-grade talent at these books, and they're not fillers. It's full on. I will say the numbers were down on last year, but I am wondering if that's a Secret Empire, a tiredness with the whole comics. I don't know. I don't know why the numbers were down on last year. So very, very weird. Andre White, who admits to burning comics, go to Englishman SDCC, go back about 6 hours worth of tweets, you'll find it there. And and the thing is, it's the fact that all the replies to his tweet were positive, saying you're a hero for doing this. Guys, burning literature is not traditionally a good move.
Read Bradbury.
Read Bradbury.
Just
real life history.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Okay, so moving on.
Yeah. Okay.
If I may, just a call out to that documentary by the History Channel again. If people haven't watched that, his Superheroes Decoded. A lot of great interviews in that. And like I said earlier, it just kind of shed a light onto why the comics developed the way they did. We're seeing a lot of season finales this week. A lot. We've got Big Bang Theory, Last Man on Earth, Blackish, and Riverdale are all wrapping up their seasons. So Thursday night's going to be interesting because it's got Big Bang Theory and there's one in Riverdale. Both those finales are both happening then. The only new stuff that's happening this week is Annie on Netflix. It's Anne of the Green Gables kind of thing. So if you've got any young girls, they might want to watch it, or I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I never have been, but there's also got the second season of Netflix Master of None, which is happening tonight, which is happening next Friday too. Also, American Gods. Did you happen to watch this on Stars?
Not on Stars, no. It's available on Amazon. Okay. It's available on Amazon Prime here in the UK. I watched the first episode and I'm not entirely taken with it. I can understand why I've heard that Neil Gaiman wasn't entirely sold on the first episode. I can kind of understand why. It looks amazing. The production looks incredible, but I don't think it quite sticks the landing. Not yet. Not yet. I am gonna stick with it, but it's a bit of a slow burn.
I read a Variety review of it, a spoiler, light spoiler review, because I have not seen it yet. I don't get stars. I do plan on watching it eventually. They said that the first 4 episodes are pretty slow. And, the people that stick with it are the people who know how good Gaiman is in his storytelling. Apparently, there is a big payoff. So from what I'm hearing, you got to invest the time in it to see it. We are doing some series recaps on it on the forum, on the blog also. So there was a couple of chats, or people were talking in the chat box about the Batman and Bill documentary that Hulu is also doing, that in conjunction with The Handmaid's Tale, and sounds really, I've talked about The Handmaid's Tale and Batman and Bill quite a bit before, but those are definitely worth watching also. Let's see, we've got network upfront presentations are going to be held mid-May, which we'll be getting a lot better idea about the renewals and cancellations. So stay tuned and keep your eyes out, because that's where we're going to start seeing those.
There was a big cancellation this week, and I'm trying to remember what it was, because I never saw the show. I think it was, I think a lot of people are just really excited at the fact that the WGA managed to, my God, last minute. If not last minute, I think it was like an hour and a half after the actual deadline. Emerald City, thank you very much indeed to Graham Small on that. Yeah, Emerald City has been cancelled after 1 season. Which is weird, because from what I heard, the people enjoyed the show. I think it's just down to numbers. I think there's been so many takes on the Wizard of Oz legend. I think there's so much good television out there at the moment. Something had to give. And obviously that's the one that did. Pitch also did. I think that's the same drill. But I think with Pitch, it was more pure numbers. There wasn't enough people watching that show. Certainly when that show was airing, it barely made a blip on social media. People weren't getting engaged with that show. Emerald City, Michael P. saying it was an expensive show, but understandable. So that's another reason.
I liked Pitch, but it appealed to more of the girl overcoming odds in me, and not so much. I think it was a little fluffy and not quite enough baseball. So I think that was the problem with Pitch, that it really didn't speak to us. So.
Yeah. Well, same drill with well, there's been a couple of comments here which in terms of with American Gods, for example, Graham Small saying, I think part of the reason is that Legion came first, and you can't help but compare the two series. Yeah, I think American Gods was expected to do better purely because of the Neil Gaiman connection. People were kind of expecting more, perhaps, of the show. I just found it a little bit bogged down. I think it. I'm hoping that there's going to be more to it when the next episode rolls around, which I believe is tomorrow. So,
and averting the WGA strike, the Writers Guild of America strike, was huge. I was very happy to hear that news. Apparently, 74% of the writers voted to strike, and that probably gave pressure to the studios to make a compromise.
I think they saw all that money vanishing last year. Yeah. Sorry, the last strike. Sorry. And just realized that this would actually hurt them more, because it's not just about internet residuals, it's about a general pay across the board. The amount of money that would be lost would be insane. Yeah, I think it was one of those awkward things. Sarita P has asked about something. Could you actually send me, Sarita, the screen cap, because I can't seem to find it, because it's something that I may have to retweet when I find the actual information myself. But yes, Sarita spotted that Alex Ross, or the Alice Ross Twitter account, tweeted out an image of the SDCC exclusive for this year and instantly deleted it. Obviously, there was a slight eagerness by somebody. I'd have to try and track that down so at least we can all have a look at it. Park Connections, Game of Thrones doing 4 spin-offs. Okay. Yeah, all right. Let's see if we can get the books finished first.
Yes.
Which, by the way, the comment that was made this morning was he doesn't have to finish the books. He could, in fact, just not finish the books and let the series do what it wants to do.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Back to that documentary. Sorry.
You're obsessed, woman. You're obsessed.
J.R. Martin. He was one of the people that they had on the doc, and he was speaking about what it was like to go to comic conventions in the in the 70s, in the early 70s in New York City, because apparently he grew up in Jersey, someplace, Bayonne, Jersey, I think. So he went into the city to go meet his heroes for the first time, and that's how different this documentary is. Okay, moving along. Are we wrapping up now?
I think we are pretty much wrapping up. Sarita, if you could send that to me, I will actually put that up on my Twitter, which you can find Englishman SDCC, of course, and we'll try and find more, because I remember the screen cap is actually kind of like just a preview image of the actual Alex Ross section, which obviously you would then click on to expand the image. However, it was yes, deleted rather sharpish. So look at that. Alex Ross follows SDCC Fit on Twitter, by all accounts. That's a name drop and a half there, Aaron. Well done. Congratulations. So yeah, you can of course find me on my various social medias, and of course you can check out an Englishman in San Diego.com for the competition to win tickets to Game of Thrones the musical. Do keep an eye on as well for the next couple of weeks. We are going to be organising the competition to win tickets for the Zelda Symphony concert as well. Where can people find you, Alyssa?
On at Friends of CCI for my Twitter account, and friendsofcci.com for the forum. Actually, just Friends of Comic-Con. Excellent. Friends of CC. Okay, cool. I'll get it right the third time. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. As always, we hope you can join us next week. Of course, we will be keeping a close eye on all the announcements that take place over the next 7 days. Next week, we'll be having not 1, but 2 live reports from conventions. We've got ourselves Comicapalooza, where we've got Michael P., who's going to be beaming in, giving us a report on that. We've also got a report and an interview that's going to be taking place at s04e38, which takes place at Sioux Falls. It's sounding like a really cute, well, cute, I don't want to sound patronizing. It sounds like a small, intimate convention, so I'm really looking forward to that. I would also like to thank everybody for bearing with us while we only do a 60-minute show. I apologize for that. We'll try harder next time. As we get closer to San Diego Comic-Con, the 3 to 4 hour shows will be the standard. So just to let you know how that's going to go.
It was like 2 hours. That's all it was. There was a lot of stuff going on last week. Moving on.
See
you next week.
See you next week, everybody. Have yourself the rest of a great week. Of course, we'll be talking about, I think it's going to be the final announcement of guests as well for San Diego Comic-Con tomorrow. So fingers crossed that's all done and dusted as well. Do take care. We'll see you next Sunday. From us to you. Bye-bye.
Good luck. Bye.